Hey guys, I've had like a pretty rough 24 hours or so. So my cat, Cashew, you've seen him in a few of my videos before. He's gonna be getting surgery soon. And so last night we took him into the emergency room. Ended up going to bed at like 5 in the morning. It was a whole thing. And so today's been like a pretty tough day for me, and I don't know, I was gonna like film this video anyways, kind of talk about what I wanted to talk about today, but I feel like, I don't know, it makes even more sense to film this video now. Let's get in here. Oh. So as you probably know if you've been following my channel, I bought this Miata brand new, and I'm 26 right now. And when I bought this car, it was kind of just going against everything that I had been taught growing up as a kid. You know, you need to save money so that you can build up, you know, your fucking compounding interest or whatever, your savings, so you can have compounding interest and have a lot of savings when you get older, and then you can retire and then live a comfortable life when you're older. Like, you need to suffer when you're younger so that when you're older, like, it'll be easier. Like, all this different shit. And this was kind of going against that because it was something I always wanted, and I kind of just like said, fuck it, I'm gonna buy it. And a lot of people will tell you like it's a bad idea, and you know, to some extent, like, they're right. But I'm here to tell you today a couple of reasons why I think buying a sports car in your 20s is actually a good idea. This is just coming from some guy who, you know, just wants to live a happy life, wants to live a fulfilled life, and just so happens to be into cars. The first point I guess I want to make is, obviously, driving a car like this is therapy. You know, it puts you in a good mood. Like, I was feeling pretty shit before I came on this drive. I've already been out here for like about 30 minutes now, and my mood has improved dramatically. You know, I'm still worried about Cashew. I'm still worried about what he's going through. Still worried about all the fucking vet bills and all the insurance and all that bullshit. But my mood is better, and I feel more equipped to tackle and handle all the bullshit that is gonna get thrown at me. When you're in a good mood, you tend to make better decisions, and you behave more like how you want to behave. So what do I mean by that? Like, when you're in a good mood, you tend to treat the people around you better, you tend to treat yourself better, you tend to work harder, and you tend to just generally make better decisions. You might think like you're just buying an object, but especially for us car guys, like, cars are just so much more than cars. They're experiences too. Especially when you know, spend money on a car like a Miata or something. It's an experience. Damn. If you are in a better mood and you make better decisions, maybe you'll work a little harder, you know? Maybe you will, you know, like, jump at an opportunity that you otherwise wouldn't have jumped at. So people say in your 20s, right? Like, the 20s are like, you know, like some of the most, like, you'll make some of the most important decisions in your life in your 20s. And the decisions you make in your 20s affect kind of like the trajectory of the rest of your life. You know, that's what a lot of people say. And what traditionally might seem like a financially irresponsible purchase in your 20s, you know, buying a fucking sports car, if the decisions you make in your 20s are the most important decisions you'll make, and they're really important, why not set yourself up to make better decisions by just always having some way to improve your mood and just be happier? I've definitely noticed, like, myself make better decisions in terms of like how I choose to spend my time, how I treat myself, like, and just like, you know, taking care of myself. I've been able to do that better, I feel like, after getting this car, because I just feel better about myself and I'm just in a better general mood overall. But yeah, guys, this is Mulholland Drive, if you've never been. Very famous driving road in LA. I'm gonna close this, it's getting kind of loud. So yeah, that's like my first point. Buying an enthusiast car in your 20s sets you up to make better decisions, and those decisions that you make kind of just improve your life overall. Like, there's so much more of a butterfly effect than you would think buying like a sports car. That's the first thing. The next thing is, I feel like people put so much of an emphasis on getting a job, you know, like in your 20s, like getting a good job. People think so much about money because when you graduate from college or when you become an adult, like that's kind of like all that's on your mind. Like, I need to get a job so I can make money, so I can support myself, so I don't have to stress my parents out, so I can like, you know, do what I want to do, like do what I've always wanted to do, so I can be like a fully fledged adult, like all that shit, right? And I feel like we get so caught up with money that we lose sight of kind of like what's important. To me personally, what is most important in your 20s is the experiences that you have with your newfound freedom and the people that you're able to meet. Because I feel like the people that you meet in your 20s, you know, your brain's like fully developed now, finally. You have an idea of like what you like and what you don't like. Like for me personally, like I had trouble making friends in college, and like I don't really talk to many of the people that I talked to in high school. And I think that's just because like my brain wasn't fully developed. Like I feel like I'm a very different person now than I was in high school and in college, obviously. What I'm trying to get at is, if you're a car guy or you're a car enthusiast, you're a car girl, you have the interest of liking cars, and like there's no denying that you will get along and you will be friends with other people who are also into cars. Woo! And so when you buy a car, you're not only buying a car, you're buying into a community, you're buying into a culture. That's not to say that, you know, if you drive just like a regular Econobox sedan, like you can't go to car meets and still hang out with people. But, you know, you're missing out on a lot of the experiences, a lot of the parallel experiences that allow you to connect with people and, you know, to make, you know, genuine connections. And so, like, ever since buying this car, like I've had this car for 6 months. In the 6 months I've owned this car, and I've like really made an effort to like, you know, go do stuff in the car community and like talk to people. I've probably met more people and like connected with more people in the last 6 months than I have like probably in the last like 4 years, if I'm being honest. I'm a pretty introverted person, and it doesn't really seem like that because, you know, like I do YouTube and shit and I'm talking to you guys, but I really am. I'm a very introverted person. I feel really awkward if like there's nothing to talk about. I'm pretty bad at making small talk. And it's gonna sound weird, but like owning a car is just social lubricant for meeting like other people who are into cars. I have met and had the pleasure of talking to so many people, and I feel like because you can always just fall back on talking about cars if there's nothing to talk about, the conversation just flows so much easier, and you're more comfortable around people and people are more comfortable around you. So the more comfortable sharing stuff about themselves, and you're just able to connect on a deeper level. In your 20s, it's very important that you meet people who you genuinely connect with and vibe with. And the most important things in your 20s, to me at least, are the people that you meet and the experiences that you have. Especially if you're into cars, why not own one of those cars and be one of those people and be a part of that community and give yourself the ability to have shared experiences with people. Again, like, for us car enthusiasts, a car is just so much more than, you know, a means of getting from point A to point B. My next point so I used to have a pretty bad relationship with money, believe it or not. I still kind of do, but not as much so. Like, I would feel very anxious about spending money. I feel like it's kind of just like an Asian thing. Like, you're like raised to live very frugally, I guess, and you kind of embody those things a bit too much, especially when you graduate from college and you're getting your first job and you're like, you don't really know what to do with your own money. And so to me, like, money became like it just became like a number on a screen. It kind of like became a measure of my self-worth, and I hated that. I hated that, like, but I couldn't help it. And what buying an enthusiast car has taught me, and, you know, kind of going off the deep end and making a pretty traditionally financially irresponsible decision, is it's really shown me how money is just a tool to get what you want, and it's nothing more than that. I feel like owning an enthusiast car has just kind of taught me that, like, money is fake, bro. What matters in life isn't money, it's again, the experiences you can buy with money, and this sounds kind of bad, but it's also the objects, the items that you can buy, because the items are what unlock those experiences. Like, it's not bad to be materialistic. I think that's another thing that it's taught me too. Especially living in LA, you see like all these like people who are like driving really, really exotic sports cars and living in big ass houses, and there's kind of this stereotype that people in LA are very like materialistic and shallow. But you don't have to be a materialistic person and be shallow. Like, you know, like you can spend money on things that really mean a lot to you and can really enhance your life in terms of the experiences you have and the people that you meet. And obviously like you need money to do this, but I guess what I'm trying to say is like you don't need to feel like you need to live extremely financially optimally all the time. Like, you know, you can spend a bit of money on things and be happy, and you don't have to feel anxious about things. You can spend money on stuff and empower yourself to have, you know, better experiences, live a better life, and have confidence in yourself that, you know, things will be okay even if you're like spending money like that. I'm not trying to say like you should like, you know, go into debt to buy a car. I'm not saying you should eat into like your emergency savings to buy a car. I'm just trying to say like you don't have to live life extremely like financially optimally all the time. You know, we're always like hearing fear mongering about how like, you know, the economy is bad, the job market's bad, things are gonna go to shit, like the world's ending, you know, Trump's tariffs. Money isn't something to be hoarded. Like it is, you know, it's good to have savings, it's good to be, you know, set yourself up for retirement, but money isn't something to be hoarded. Money is a tool to get what you want. And if what you want is a fucking cool car, get it, bro. If you can afford it, get it. I spent a lot of money on this car, bro. I've never spent more money on anything in my life. And I had a lot of anxiety about it. But I think I'm finally at a point now where I've gotten over the anxiety and I've really started. I've owned the car for 6 months and I've finally really been able to reflect and think about all these things that I've talked to you guys about today. And I have zero regrets about this. Like, it is probably the best decision I have made in my entire life. You know, you can call me like, you know, a shallow materialistic person for saying that purchasing something is the best decision I've made in my entire life. But I feel like if you understand where I'm coming from and the things that I'm talking about, it's so much more than just a purchase. And I'm glad that I'm privileged enough to be able to buy a car like this, to be able to daily a car like this and not have to worry about other responsibilities. If you're kind of like in my position where, you know, you're in your 20s, you've been eyeing that cool car or whatever that like for a while, and you're kind of like on the fence about making such a big purchase and it's seeming kind of like a irresponsible decision. These are just some thoughts from someone who did it and is really enjoying it. So, you know, take what you will from that. Here's Takashi getting a speedy recovery from his surgery. Thank you guys for all the support on my videos. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.